Hi, this is People, Places, Things, and in History. This is Carol Church Gardner coming with you with a brand new one, and I hope you like the horse actors that I picked. These are old-time horse actors that was on Westerns. First one is Hiyo Silver. Silver was actually named White, was his real name was White Cloud. This is the one who played Silver. He was gentle, he was kind, he was really a good horse. This is why he got the silver role. From 1949 to 1945, he was actually the silver role. This is the actor who played Silver. He was 17, actually hands high. That means he was pretty high for a horse. This actor died in 1959. He was actually between 21 and 22 years old. This is what Beyond the Grave had told me. You could Wikipedia him up. You could find the same things. He was the most popular horse in Western lore. And they also have an ID number that goes beyond the grave. Okay, so this is how I'm getting my things in through Wikipedia. This character actually started on radio. This is how long ago this character was really important. He was set a long time ago on the radio. You'd sit there, you'd hear the Long Rangers, and then you would hear, him in comic books. This is how far back this character before he even starred his role. At first, on the TV show, before it came the TV show, I just said the Lone Ranger was on radio. Who could not forget Scout, Tano's horse? Of all people, Tano's horse. Well, during the actual, before it got to TV on radio, he was actually a white horse. This is what I Wikipedia'd up. He didn't become Scout until they had actually got the started the TV series. They didn't want to see two white horses on the screen, so they gave Tano a paint horse, and they figured out to call him Scout. Alright, so at first they said something about one of the Indian chiefs gave him supposed to be Scout, but I can't get if it was the actual horse before Scout or after Scout. But this is how Scout became, because they didn't want to see two white horses up on the actual screen. They wanted to have a different one. So they got a paint horse or a pinup horse, and they actually called him Scout. This is who Scout is. He's the Long Ranger's buddy's horse. And so on the actual movie that they made, he was called Whitefellow. This was the horse that was before Scout. And then when they went back to the radio, when they started the TV series, they had found out that they had a pinto on there. So then they brought back a pinto, and then this one they had called Scout. This one was actually an Indian pony given to him by Chief Thundercloud. The only thing that I can't find out is when I did his grave, he doesn't have any markers like Silver did. But he was just in an important role as Silver, but they didn't realize it because he was not considered a hero either. So this is all I could Wikipedia on him. I couldn't find out very much other than he was in the radio, he was called something else, and he was a pinto, and then they went to a white horse during actually the movie, and then when they had went to the actual TV series, he became Scout. I really liked Scout a lot, so I wished I could have found more on him, but sorry. So our next item up is who could never forget Champ. Gene Autry's horse. Okay, so this is all about Champ. Okay, Gene Autry's horse, Champ. 1935 was actually, and he had 70-some films he had been on, and there was 91 actually TV series that he was actually on with Gene Autry. So this is how important Champ is. Here we go. At first, he was actually owned by Tom Nix. Gene Autry only paid $75 for Champ, which was a Morgan Sorrow white blaze, 4 white feet. Okay, so he only paid $75, and then when he was done with some of his movie career, he was only in a couple of films, he was worth $25,000. This is how much this guy was worth. He could actually do tricks like untie knots, bow his head, shake yes or no for his head, which isn't really that difficult. I've done it with my other horses. And he also could do a lot of other tricks. This was Gene Autry's like when he whistled, he would come. And this is how important Champ was. Sadly to report, in 1943, the real Champ had died. He died actually when Gene Autry was in the Army. He actually died, so then he was looking for a Champ Jr. So he went back to Tom Nix and found Champ Jr. The real Champ was like 17 years old. He had a major heart attack. It looked like he had a heart attack, so there was nothing nobody could do to save the original Champ, so this is why he had to get Champ Jr. Champ Jr. appeared in Madison Square Garden in 1946. This was his last appearance, but Champ Jr. actually lived to be over 30 years old. I'm happy to report he lived till 1977. That means I was 6 years old when this horse died. So yeah, my mom had one to live to be 19, she got him in 19 something other, and he lived to be 42 years old. So yes, he can live pretty old as long as you take care of him. And, so this is how old Champ Jr. got to be. Okay, so who else couldn't forget Tornado? This one is actually Zoro's horse, and if you watch the newer, versions of him, he is like a Frisian, but the older horse that I'm talking about, but that one's comical, but they're both supposed to be intelligent and very smart horses. So this is all about the original Tornado, guys. Let's see if I can find some. Tornado was several horses that they used back when Guy Williams was. Domino was his favorite. They ranged from a grade horse. They also had one that was actually quarter horse, saddlebred, list goes on. Okay, so this was actually probably the stud double horses. They probably had a range of different horses, because if you know horses, which I know horses, sometimes depending on the horse, you don't want to use your prized horse to do the stunts, so they would actually go back and forth, and even in long range and tunnel, if it looked like it was too serious of whatever the stunt, you would end up with a stunt double horse. So this was maybe some of the stunt doubles, or maybe the horse just couldn't do something, so they would bring these other, even the gelding that wasn't really, anything, just a mutt. They went and brought him in. Hey, there's nothing wrong with mutts. I love mutts. He was a registered quarter horse, but he was really, when he foaled, he was a gray horse. This is all I could find out. So, guys, I'm going to try to fit in Trigger right now, so I'm going to have to cut Zoro's horse off short. Sorry. July the 4th, 1934, this horse was born. He died in July the 3rd, 1965. Okay, so he missed one day, and he would have been a year older. Okay, so this horse was 15.3 hands high. He was an actual grade horse. That means he wasn't registered, guys, and he was a Palomino. Trigger was at this time not really bought by Roy Rogers. Okay, so he actually played, if everybody watched Robin Hood with Errol Flynn, he has a cameo. He made Marion's horses. He's taking a drink out of the river. This is Trigger before and after. So, honestly, Roy Rogers purchased Trigger from where the film company was for how much? Okay, so they paid $2,500 for Trigger. They honestly made payments. He was so expensive. But after a while, in a few films and knowing what he knew, he was worth $35,000. Okay, guys, so I'm going to have to cut this one short now. So maybe I can try to do another one. Hit a like, hit a share, subscribe if you want to learn more, and make sure and thumbs up. I'll see you.